Okay, so today's video is my Reading Rush TBR. So first of all, the Reading Rush is a week-long readathon that happens every year in July. I think it's been going for 6 years or something like that. It is run by Ariel Bissett and Raylene. I will link both of their channels in the description below, as well as the Reading Rush channel. This year, the Reading Rush will be going from the 20th of July to the 26th of July. They have 7 reading challenges for you to do. You can read 7 books throughout the week, or you can read fewer books that meet those 7 challenges. So what I'm going to do is read out the 7 challenges and then show you the books that I'm going to read, because the books will meet a few challenges. The first challenge is to read a book with a cover that matches the colour of your birthstone. The second challenge is to read a book that starts with the word the. Challenge 3 is to read a book that inspired a movie you've already seen. Challenge 4, read the first book that you touch. Challenge 5, read a book completely outside of your house. So they have noted that that particular, or all of the challenges, were actually created prior to everything being insane with COVID-19 and people being unable to actually, for the most part, leave their homes. So they have put in a number of different suggestions that we might wish to do instead, or as a way around it. But anyway, I'll explain what I'm going to be doing when I go through the books. Prompt number 6 is to read a book in a genre that you've always wanted to read more of. And prompt number 7 is to read a book that takes place on a different continent to where you live. So those are the 7 challenges for the Reading Rush Readathon. I am now going to show you the books that I have chosen to go with those challenges. So the first book that I want to show you is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. So I've chosen this book to meet 2 challenges. The first one is to meet the book, the cover that matches your birthstone. My birthstone is aquamarine, which is sort of a bluey colour, light bluey colour. So I think that this matches that perfectly well. And as you probably noticed, I actually got my nails done to be aquamarine so that they would match this book and also be my birthstone colour. That was just something a little bit fun that I thought that I would add to the whole July Reading Rush experience. So anyway, that book covers the first prompt, and it also covers the second prompt because it is a book that starts with the word the. So there's that one. It is a little bit of a chunkier book than what you might expect a person to read during a readathon. It is 448 pages, but I have heard that it's amazing and that I will fly through it. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one, and yeah, hopefully I will read it in that week, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The next book that I want to show you, I'm actually going to put an image because I don't have it physically. I have it on my e-reader, and I'm actually not reading a book. I'm actually reading a short story by Stephen King, and it is a short story called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, or otherwise known as Hope Springs Eternal. So the movie, The Shawshank Redemption, is one of my favourite movies of all time, and I've known for a while now that it was based on a book by Stephen King, but I have never gotten around to reading it, and then I saw this prompt and it just seemed like the perfect opportunity. It's just a short story, so that works out really well for a readathon. I've been wanting to read some more Stephen King, or some Stephen King. I've actually never read Stephen King, so I was really wanting to read some Stephen King. So that kind of fits the prompt to read a book that you haven't, that fits into a genre that you want to read more of, or want to read some of. So Stephen King, I suppose, isn't technically a genre, but it's still sort of fix that prompt, I think. But the main one that it is fitting is the movie, read a book that inspired a movie that you have already seen prompt. The next prompt is to read the first book that you touch. So there's a variety of different ways that you could interpret this question, and I think that there's a number of different ways that people are choosing to interpret this question. I know that Raylene, in their video where they put their TBR together, said that she got all the books that she was planning to read otherwise and sort of closed her eyes and picked it. So I've done something a little bit similar, and I will show you the footage of me actually choosing the book in a moment. I was inspired by my choice to read a short story by Stephen King, and I have actually got a few books with short stories in them. So I've got this book here, which is Meet Me at the Intersection, edited by Rebecca Lim and Amberlynn Quay Molina, and it is I'll read you the back. Literature without diversity presents a false image of what it is to be human. We invite you into our worlds. Meet us at the intersection. Our own voice memoir, poetry, and short fiction by writers who are First Nations, people of colour, LGBTQIA+, or living with disability, exploring life from each author's unique perspective. So I could have had a story out of this, or I could have had a story out of this book, which is How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin, and that is a series of short stories by N.K. Jemisin. So it says on the back, from firebirds to megacops, from utopias to civil rights marches, that it's impossible to describe, except to say that every single story here is riveting, provocative, and remarkable, an extraordinary collection from an extraordinary writer. And then on my e-reader, I downloaded the collection of short stories by Stephen King that he had put, that short story that I've already said I'm going to be reading. So I'll potentially choose another short story from that collection. And then I also have some short stories downloaded from Audible. They are Audible exclusive short stories, collections of short stories with a variety of different authors. So what I did was I put all of these out on a little coffee table and then spun both myself and the coffee table around so that I wouldn't know where they were, and then just reached out and touched something. And like I said, I will put that in now. And as you saw, this was the one that I came up with. So How Long Till Black Future Month, stories by N.K. Jemisin. So that's actually 2 N.K. Jemisin books for that week, or stories for that week. So I'm really hoping that I am correct in assuming I'm going to love N.K. Jemisin. I have heard from a number of different booktubers who are big fantasy people that they absolutely loved the 5th season and the other books that came with this one. A lot of buzz going on at the moment for her latest book, which I think is called The City We Became, which I'd like to read at some point too, but I feel like I probably need to read the other N.K. Jemisin books that I bought recently before I go and collect all of her work. So anyway, that's that prompt. And then I have read a book completely outside of your house. For that one, I've chosen Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. So the reason that I chose this one is because it is a graphic novel, so it's going to be reasonably quick-paced to read, and I thought that I could throw it into my laptop bag and take it to school with me and then read it during my lunch break, recess, anytime that I have off during the week, because my workload has actually gone up a bit, so I'm going to be at school 4 days a week, so that should hopefully give me enough time to read this book. If not, then I can always take it out into the garden if it's a nice day or something like that on the weekend. But yeah, that's the plan for that one. This one also fits the prompt to read a book that you have been wanting to read more of as well. So I've been wanting to read more graphic novels. Haven't really been much of a graphic novel reader because I just haven't really gotten into it. So I'm trying to change that. And this was actually a book that was recommended to me as a really great way to start reading graphic novels. So that's one that meets that prompt. Actually, so does this one, because I haven't read many short stories, so something I want to read more of as well. And yeah, Stephen King does too. So Really, the only one that doesn't fit the prompt is N.K. Jemisin, because it's high fantasy, and I mean the 5th season, because it's high fantasy, and that's something I read quite a lot of. So that fits that. Those fit that prompt as well. And the last prompt is to read a book that takes place on a different continent from where you live. So I live in Australia, which means that all of these books will work for this prompt, because this one, from what I know, takes place predominantly in the United States. This one definitely takes place in the United States. The Stephen King takes place in the United States. And this one takes place in an entirely made-up world, so that will definitely fit the prompt. I think realistically I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 books that will fit that prompt, so that's all 7 prompts accounted for. That is my Reading Rush TBR. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please comment below if you are going in the Reading Rush, what you are planning to read for the Reading Rush. If you have a TBR video of your own, I'd love to have a look at it. If you've read any of these books or you're planning to read any of these books, please let me know that as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.